The cameras stopped rolling, but the chaos didn't. What was supposed to be just another episode of The Real Circle, LA turned into one of the most shocking moments in reality TV history, when Ty, the fan favorite known for her fire, confidence, and brutal honesty, dropped a bomb that no one saw coming. According to sources close to the show, Ty allegedly revealed that she's pregnant, and not just by anyone, but by the show's very own producer. Yes, you heard that right. The woman who's been giving everyone else advice on love and loyalty might have just broken the one rule that changes everything. Fans are losing their minds. Castmates are stunned. And production? Completely blindsided. It all went down during what was supposed to be a routine reunion taping. Emotions running high, secrets bubbling beneath the surface, until Ty stood up, trembling but defiant, and said, "Y'all keep talking about drama, but let's talk about the real reason everyone's been acting different around me." The room went silent. One producer looked like he'd seen a ghost. And then Ty dropped it. "I'm pregnant, and he knows exactly who he is." Instantly, chaos erupted. The crew froze. The cast screamed. And reality TV changed forever. The stage was glittering under bright studio lights, the audience buzzing with anticipation. The cast of The Real Circle, LA, was ready to film what was supposed to be a fiery but controlled reunion episode, filled with laughs, light shade, and just enough tension to trend online. Nobody knew that by the end of the night, the entire franchise would be turned upside down. Ty arrived in a gold dress that shimmered like armor. Her face was calm, her energy composed, but her eyes told a different story. Stormy, heavy, almost trembling beneath the lashes. She'd been quiet all season, letting the others fight their petty battles. But tonight, she wasn't just another castmate. She was holding a secret so explosive that it could destroy reputations, contracts, and maybe even the show itself. The host smiled brightly as the cameras rolled. "Welcome back to The Real Circle LA reunion. Tonight we're clearing the air, righting wrongs, and facing some of the biggest rumors of the season." The crowd cheered. The ladies smiled for the cameras. But when the spotlight hit Ty, she didn't smile back. She looked like someone ready to detonate the truth. "Ty," the host began, "you've been pretty quiet all season. Fans are wondering, why so reserved this time around?" Ty leaned forward, voice soft but firm. "Because sometimes being quiet is the only way to survive in a room full of people who want you to break," the audience murmured. Evelyn, one of her co-stars, raised an eyebrow. "Girl, ain't nobody trying to make you break. We just want to understand what's going on with you." Ty's lips twitched into a faint smile. "You want the truth?" The host nodded eagerly. "Of course." And that's when the bomb dropped. Ty took a deep breath, eyes locked on the cameras. "I didn't plan to say this tonight, but since everybody's been whispering behind my back, let's clear it up right now. I'm pregnant," the crowd gasped. The room fell silent. Even the lighting tech froze. The host blinked. "Wait, what?" Ty's voice trembled now, but her words cut through the silence like glass. "Yeah, I'm pregnant. And the father isn't who y'all think." A hush fell over the entire set. One of the producers shifted nervously behind the camera. Evelyn leaned forward. "Girl, don't play like that. Who are you talking about?" Ty turned slowly toward the production crew, her eyes landing on someone offstage. "He knows who he is," she said, her tone sharp, eyes glistening. "And so does everyone else who's been covering for him." The camera panned to the audience. Pure shock, people whispering, jaws dropping. The host stammered. "Ty, are you saying—" "I'm saying," she interrupted, voice breaking, "that I'm pregnant by someone who's been sitting behind those cameras all season pretending to be neutral." But he wasn't. He wasn't neutral at all, the audience screamed. Castmates covered their mouths. Evelyn shouted, "No way!" The cameras caught the producer's face, pale, stiff, caught off guard. It was Derek, one of the show's senior producers. He tried to look away, but Ty wasn't done. "Yeah, Derek," she said, calling his name for the world to hear. "You gonna sit there and act like you don't know what I'm talking about? You told me to keep quiet, remember? You said it would ruin your career, not mine." The entire set erupted. Gasps, screams. Phones whipped out as crew members tried to stop recording. But it was too late. Multiple cameras were already rolling. Derek stood up, face red. "Ty, this isn't the place. Oh, it's exactly the place!" she snapped, standing too. "You used your position to get close to me, promised me things, said you'd protect me. But the second I told you I was pregnant, you started treating me like a problem to fix. The room exploded in chaos. Cast members shouted over each other. The host tried to restore order, yelling, "We need to go to break." But the crowd was chanting Ty's name now. Security moved in, cameras still rolling. Evelyn turned to another castmate. "Oh my God, she's not lying. I saw them together once after filming." Brooke, sitting near the back, covered her mouth. "If this is true, this show is done." Like done. Ty stood center stage, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Y'all always say we're family here," she said bitterly. "But when it's real, when something serious happens, nobody protects us. Not unless it helps their storyline." The host finally managed to cut to a break, but the energy was beyond repair. Behind the scenes, the crew scrambled, execs shouted into headsets, and the live feed went black for a full 10 minutes. But the audience? They had already seen everything. By the time production resumed, shattered Ty pregnant by producer was trending worldwide. Fan theories were flooding Twitter. Screenshots of Derek's face were everywhere, and everyone was asking the same question. How deep did this go, and who else knew? As Ty sat backstage, her hands shaking, she whispered to the camera in her confessional, "They wanted drama for TV. Well, now they've got it, the kind that doesn't stop when the camera's cut." And somewhere across the studio, Derek was being escorted out, his headset ripped off, his career unraveling before his eyes. But this was only the beginning. The studio was in chaos. Producers were yelling through headsets. The audience was half stunned and half cheering, and security had no idea whether to escort Ty off stage or protect her. Cameras kept rolling even after the director screamed, "Cut!" because everyone knew this was history being made. Reality TV had just crossed a line it could never uncross. Ty sat backstage, trembling, makeup smudged, her microphone still hot. "I didn't mean for it to come out like that," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I just couldn't hold it in anymore. He made me feel like I was crazy, like none of it mattered." But it does. It's his baby too. Meanwhile, in the control room, chaos reigned. The executive producer slammed a clipboard down. "Get Derek out of the building, now." Another voice shouted, "Do we have a statement ready? Someone contact legal, this is bad." Derek was pacing in a hallway, pale and sweating. His headset hung around his neck, and the usually confident producer looked completely destroyed. A fellow crew member whispered, "Man, did it really happen?" Derek didn't answer. He just rubbed his forehead and muttered, "They weren't supposed to know." Back on stage, the cast tried to regroup. Evelyn whispered, "This can't be real." Brooke leaned forward, shaking her head. "Oh, it's real. I saw those two getting real close during filming last month." The host sat frozen in his chair, trying to piece together a plan. Do we address this on camera? The network had other ideas. Within minutes, phones were blowing up. Executives demanding control of the narrative. "Get everyone to sign NDAs. We're not airing that footage yet," one voice said. But the damage was done. Fans who'd been in the live audience were already tweeting. A grainy cell phone video of Ty's confrontation hit the internet before she'd even left the stage. By midnight, Harker Ty exposes, the producer and Real Circle chaos were trending #1 worldwide. Comments poured in, "OMG, Ty said what? She really exposed the producer? That's crazy. Protect Ty at all costs. She's the only one keeping it real. Others weren't as kind." She knew what she was doing. Don't play the victim now. The entire internet was divided. And every gossip outlet had the same headline by morning. "Reality show scandal, star claims she's pregnant by producer live on air." TMZ had photos of Derek leaving the studio, face hidden under a cap. Other outlets were digging into his past. Interviews, production history, every woman he'd ever worked with. Inside sources started leaking details. How Ty and Derek's friendship had begun months ago when she'd been struggling with anxiety about her contract. He'd offered to help her navigate the pressure. Late-night phone calls turned into private meetings. Private meetings turned into something more. Castmates began to speak up. Evelyn posted a cryptic Instagram story, "Energy don't lie." Y'all saw what you saw? Brooke went live on TikTok, shaking her head. "I told them something wasn't right. But no one listens till it's too late." Then came the network's official statement. A bland, damage control masterpiece. The Real Circle, LA values the integrity and safety of its cast and crew. We are currently investigating recent allegations and will ensure that all parties involved are treated with fairness and respect. but fans weren't buying it. Comments flooded the post. Investigating? The whole thing happened on camera. You're protecting the wrong person. Camera. You're protecting the wrong person. Ty deserves justice. Behind closed doors, Ty was being pulled in 100 directions. Lawyers called. Her manager begged her not to speak publicly. Let the network handle it, he said. But Ty wasn't listening. She went live that night, raw, tearful, her phone shaking in her hand. I didn't want this to become entertainment, she said. I wanted the truth out. I didn't ask for this. I didn't plan it. But I'm not going to hide it anymore. He said he'd stand by me. Now he's hiding behind lawyers. That's the real story. Millions tuned in. Comments poured like wildfire. We love you, Ty. Stay strong, girl. Expose them all. Meanwhile, Derek vanished. No social media, no interviews, nothing. Insiders whispered he'd been suspended indefinitely. Others said he'd been fired on the spot. But a few sources, anonymous and bold, claimed something darker, that he'd already offered Ty money to keep quiet. Evelyn and Brooke were seen leaving the studio together later that week, avoiding paparazzi questions. One journalist shouted, "Is the show canceled?" Evelyn snapped back, "It should be, after this mess." Inside the network offices, tension was at a boiling point. The head of PR threw a folder on the table. This is a PR nightmare. Half the internet thinks she's brave. The other half thinks she's manipulative. Either way, our name's in every headline. Executives debated pulling the entire season from streaming platforms, but ratings had skyrocketed overnight. It was a moral disaster but a financial goldmine. "We can't bury this," one exec said quietly. "This is the biggest story reality TV's ever seen." By the end of the week, rumors of a special 2-part expose episode began to spread. The teaser poster leaked online. The real circle, the secret that stopped the show. Ty was silent for days, then finally posted one photo, her hand resting on her stomach. Captioned simply, "Still standing." The comments exploded again. Supporters flooded in. Fans started GoFundMes. Celebrities posted messages of solidarity. But behind the applause, the backlash was growing. Derek's lawyer released a statement. "My client denies all allegations. He and Ms. Ty had no inappropriate relationship, and any claims to the contrary are categorically false." The world was now split in two. By Stand with Ty versus Dr. Justice for Derek. Every podcast, every blog, every gossip channel dissected the story like it was a murder mystery. The cast was torn too. Some privately reached out to Ty, offering love and support. Others distanced themselves completely, afraid to be dragged into the scandal. Malaysia said in her confessional, "This ain't no storyline anymore. This is real life. And it's messy." But deep down, everyone knew. The truth hadn't fully come out yet. There were still text messages, late-night emails, and unseen footage locked away in production servers. And the whispers inside the studio kept getting louder. Ty wasn't the only one. When the reunion footage leaked online, showing Derek's face as Ty exposed him, the clip hit 50 million views in a single day. News anchors discussed it. Think pieces debated it. Memes were everywhere. The story had escaped reality TV. It had become reality itself. And as the world watched, Ty whispered in her next confessional, tears streaking her face. "They tried to silence me. But the truth doesn't need permission." Days after Ty's revelation, the show's world split apart completely. Every cast member, every crew member, every blogger had an opinion, and no one knew who to believe anymore. What started as a single confession had spiraled into a storm that reached every corner of social media and the entertainment industry. Ty had gone quiet again. The once fiery star who had faced her castmates without flinching now looked hollow, exhausted. Cameras caught her sitting alone in her apartment, scrolling through her phone as headlines screamed her name. "I didn't think it would get this big," she whispered to the producer filming her confession. "I just wanted to tell the truth. But now it feels like the truth is eating me alive." The backlash was brutal. Some fans flooded her comments with love and encouragement. "We believe Ty, to protect Ty, real victim energy." But others accused her of chasing attention. "She's using this for fame," one tweet read. Another said, "Every season needs a scandal, and she just made herself the storyline." Then came the leak that flipped everything again. One morning, the internet woke up to a series of screenshots allegedly from Ty's messages with Derek. The The texts were emotional, flirty, and, most shockingly, dated from the time before the alleged relationship began filming. One message from Derek read, "You're the only real one here. I can't show it on set, but you know how I feel." Another, from Ty, said, "You told me this wouldn't ruin us. You said you'd protect me." The messages spread like wildfire. Some fans said they proved Derek had taken advantage of her. Others argued they showed the relationship was mutual. When the cast gathered for filming again, the tension was unbearable. Brooke was the first to break the silence. "So are we going to talk about the texts or what?" she asked. Evelyn rolled her eyes. "I mean, come on. This whole thing's gone too far. The network's probably loving this." Brooke turned on her. "Loving this? Evelyn, this is someone's real life. She's out here being dragged while he's hiding." Evelyn shot back, and maybe she should have thought about that before putting it on national TV. The argument spiraled. Every woman in the room picked a side. Some called Ty brave, others reckless. Then the door opened and Ty walked in. Her face was pale but determined. "You can all stop talking," she said quietly. "I'm here." The room fell silent. The camera zoomed in. Ty stood in front of them, voice trembling. "I saw the messages. And yeah, they're real. But nobody knows what happened behind them." She took a deep breath. "When I met Derek, I was broken. This show had messed with my head. He said he understood. He told me I was special. And when I believed him, that's when everything changed. The minute I stopped being convenient, he turned on me." Tears filled her eyes. Evelyn crossed her arms, still skeptical. "Girl, are you saying he forced you?" Ty shook her head. "No, I'm saying he manipulated me. He used his power, his position, his promises. You don't have to hit someone to control them, you just have to convince them they're safe." The room stayed quiet. Even Evelyn had no comeback. Later that night, the footage leaked. Ty's raw confession, unfiltered and painful. Fans flooded the internet again, but this time the tone shifted. Big celebrities posted their support. Activists demanded an investigation. The hashtag #HarkJusticeForTy trended for 2 straight days. But just when things seemed to tilt in her favor, another bomb dropped. A gossip site posted a new video. Derek, in a hotel room, sitting across from another Real Circle cast member, Amber. The caption read, "Exclusive. Derek seen with another woman from the show." Did Ty know? The clip was blurry but clear enough. Derek was smiling, relaxed, and saying, "She's not the only one who got close to me." The internet lost its mind. Ty's fans turned furious. The cast went silent. The network went into lockdown. And within hours, Amber deleted all her social media accounts. Ty saw the clip live. Cameras captured her reaction. She just stared at her phone, silent for what felt like an eternity. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "So I wasn't the only one." She broke down completely. The tears came fast, uncontrollable. He played me, he played her, he played all of us. Her best friend from the show, Lila, came over, wrapping her in a hug. "You're not alone, sis. He's the one who's dirty, not you." Ty sniffed, nodding. They all wanted a story. Well, now they've got one. The next day, the network announced it would air an emergency special titled "The Truth Behind the Real Circle, Ty Speaks." In the trailer, Ty could be heard saying, "I kept quiet for too long. Now everyone's going to hear it, from me." The special would go on to become the most watched episode in the show's history. But before it aired, one more twist would send shockwaves through everything. A message from Derek himself. The world stopped again when Derek finally broke his silence. It wasn't through a press conference or a polished network statement. It was an unfiltered, polished network statement. It was an unfiltered, late-night video posted to his personal social media, the kind of shaky, dimly lit clip that screamed desperation. His face was gaunt, his eyes tired. The video started with a long sigh. "I never wanted it to get this far," he said, voice low and heavy. "I never wanted to hurt Ty. What we had was real. At least it was real to me." He paused, rubbing his temples, his words trembling between guilt and fear. "Did I cross a line? Maybe I did. I was her producer. I should have known better. But people don't understand she wasn't some victim. She was the one who came to me. We both made mistakes." That one sentence, "she wasn't some victim," blew up the internet all over again. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Ty's fans went to war, calling it gaslighting, manipulation, emotional abuse. Others claimed it proved Ty wasn't being truthful. The debate became vicious, messy, and unstoppable. The network panicked. In less than 24 hours, they announced an emergency reunion part 2, not to resolve drama, but to address the scandal that had defined the entire season. Cameras were rolling again, but this time the energy was darker. No glam, no laughter, no filters, just raw tension. Ty walked onto the stage in black. No makeup, no jewelry, no smile. The audience clapped softly, sensing the weight of what was coming. When Derek appeared, escorted by security and visibly nervous, the room's air changed completely. The host's voice was steady but cautious. "Thank you both for agreeing to be here. This isn't about ratings or gossip anymore. This is about truth." Ty stared straight ahead, not even glancing at Derek. "Truth," she repeated softly. "That's something he doesn't understand." Derek swallowed hard. "Ty, I don't," she interrupted. "You've said enough." The host raised a hand gently. "Ty, millions of people have seen your story. Some support you, others question you. What do you want them to know?" Ty took a deep breath, her voice trembling but strong. "I want them to know that power isn't just about money or fame. It's about control. And for months, this man controlled my story, my emotions, my life. He told me what to say, when to smile, how to act. I thought he cared. I thought I was special. But I was just convenient." The audience fell silent. Derek looked down, his jaw tight. "I'm not perfect," Ty continued. "I made choices too. But I didn't have the power he had. And when I said no, or when I started pulling away, that's when he reminded me who held the contracts, who could edit me out of episodes, who could make me disappear." Tears streamed down her face. "You said you loved me, Derek, but love doesn't come with NDAs." Derek finally spoke, voice cracking. "Ty, I did love you. You don't understand how much this show breaks people. We get caught up in it. The lights, the pressure, the need to make good TV. Then why ruin me for it?" She cut in sharply. "Why lie to my face? Why make me feel crazy for wanting something real?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. The cameras zoomed in on his silence. The host turned to him. "Derek, do you deny what she said?" Derek hesitated for a long time. Finally, in a whisper, "No." The room gasped. The audience clapped softly, shocked. Ty covered her face, sobbing. Evelyn, sitting nearby, mouthed, "Wow." The host leaned forward. "So you admit the relationship happened?" Derek nodded slowly. "Yeah, it happened. And I regret every second of how it ended." Ty lifted her head. Mascara streaked, but her eyes blazing. "No, you regret that the world found out." The entire audience stood in stunned silence. After that day, Derek resigned. His statement was short, emotionless, and corporate. "I've stepped down from my role with The Real Circle, LA, to focus on personal reflection and accountability." But Ty wasn't done. She agreed to do a one-on-one special with the network, this time on her terms. No editing. No scripts. Just her, sitting under a single light, telling everything. "I don't want to be remembered as the girl who exposed a producer," she said softly. "I want to be remembered as the woman who stopped pretending everything was okay just because the cameras were on. They said I broke the show, but maybe the show was already broken." Her words went viral again. Critics praised her courage. Fans called her a hero. Industry insiders whispered that she'd never work in TV again. But that didn't matter. She'd told her truth, and the world had listened. The season finale aired with a closing montage. Flashes of Ty walking off stage, Derek leaving through the back exit, castmates watching in disbelief. The screen faded to black with one final message. The Real Circle. LA will return next season with new leadership and new beginnings. But fans knew. The magic was gone. The show would never be the same. Weeks later, Ty posted a quiet photo, a sonogram. No caption, no hashtags. Just her and the truth she'd fought for. The comments poured in. Thousands of hearts, thousands of prayers. And one message that stood out among the rest. You turned your pain into power. And as the camera faded on that image, one thing became clear. Ty didn't just change her story. She changed the rules of reality TV forever. And just like that, the glittering world of The Real Circle, LA, came crashing down in front of millions. What began as another reunion episode became the scandal that redefined reality television. Ty's confession, Derek's breakdown, and the raw honesty that followed tore through the glamour, exposing the painful truth hiding beneath the lights. No script, no editing, just heartbreak, power, and truth colliding on camera. Fans are still stunned. Some call it bravery, others call it betrayal. But one thing's undeniable. Ty's story started a conversation far bigger than TV, about control, exploitation, and the hidden lines crossed in pursuit of fame. The show may have continued, but its innocence was gone. And Ty. She walked away, not as a villain or a victim, but as a survivor who refused to be silenced. Now the question remains, where does the show go from here? Can the Real Circle recover from the scandal that shook its foundation? Or will Ty's truth become the new beginning for something bigger, something real? What do you think? Was Ty right to expose everything on air, or did she take reality TV too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your side. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next deep dive into Hollywood's wildest secrets. Because if there's one thing we've learned from Ty's story, the cameras might stop, but the drama never does.